The views and opinions of the Nissan Nation podcast are simply that. They are views and opinions of its guests or hosts. They do not reflect Nissan corporate or otherwise. Now, a DRB and KGB media presentation, the Nissan Nation podcast. Hit it, Kelly.
Recorded live, coast to coast, it's the Nissan Nation podcast. From camping, racing, and all points in between. The NNP is your Nissan Nation podcast. Now start your engines and welcome in your hosts, David, Danny, and Holden.
What is going on, Nissan Nation? From all things Nissan here in Middle Tennessee to the ATL and to the big LA. This is your Nissan Nation podcast, and tonight we have the trifecta back, guys. The one and only Mr. Daniel Groders is over there on the West Coast. What's up, Danny?
What's up, man? Good to be back. Glad you guys didn't get hurt on your little bro trip. I was a little jealous, but it's stoked to be back in the studio recording another podcast with you, bros.
Well, and we got Mr. Holden over there with Regal Nissan. What is up, buddy?
Nothing much at all. Just another week in the Nissan worlds.
It has been another week in the Nissan worlds, man. And there's lots to talk about tonight. We've got big news. We got to go over, since Danny's here, we need to review our trip a little bit. We've the Nissan Altima, the 19 Altima just started production this week. That's kind of big news. And we've got updates with Daniel and his race truck. So let's get right into it. So Holden, Danny, like he just said, he was a little jealous that he didn't get in on the man trip, as he calls it. Danny, why don't you interview Holden about this trip? Because I know you had all kinds of questions about this.
Yeah, so I know you drove the whole time, and I feel you drove the whole time for reasons different than what I think Dave thought was going to be on this trip. Did Dave make sure in service? Make sure you were taking care of the whole trip.
I drove the whole trip.
I know, but you were driving the truck. What was Dave driving?
Dave, he was driving the GoPro, and he tried to drive the tunes, and he was kind of failing. So I had to show him some moves on the tunes.
I didn't want to be rude and just take over your radio. Like, pardon me, I've got this.
And not even a mile into the trip, he totally let us take a wrong turn. So,
let me ask you this, Holden, as a person that's road trip with Dave a few times now, for better or for worse, what kind of music was he into while you were driving?
I mean, he's pretty much into the kind of stuff I'm into, but he was on, I think he had just discovered some new System of a Down.
I did.
So he was wanting to bump some System of a Down.
I'm a little late to them.
Yeah, I was like, man, I was bumping this music back in my Marine Corps days. Like, this is old now, Dave. But Dave was like all giddy about it, like it was brand new stuff. And I'm like,
well, it's like
the one guy in high
scene,
school who just discovered Eminem, and like, that's all he blasts. Like, every time you're ever with him is Eminem, and you're like, bro, this CD's 10 years old now. Like,
nice.
It's not new.
Well, I've been feeling my metal roots here lately, man. So it's like there's a big gap from me in a Metallica to now. So I'm trying to fill in that gap a little bit, Holden.
Nice. Well, and I know you guys slept in a hotel once, or you guys slept in the same room once or twice. How is the snoring? Is it got any better over the years, or is the weight loss helped, or is he just as bad as normal?
I think now, since there's like 50 pounds less of Dave pushing down on his chest, there's no snoring. So it's like he didn't bother me at all. I mean, that just could be just from.
I was going to say, we were literally on the road like 12 hours a day. So I think by the time Holden was done, he was done.
Crashed out. Right on. What is the energy drink of choice between you two on your road trip?
Mine is the white 0-calorie Monster, but Dave is more of the original low-calorie, the blue.
The blue Monster.
I got hooked on that because of Danny over there.
Wait, because of me? What are you talking about?
Yeah, bro, because when we went to California, or when I went out to California, you were like, hey, what do you drink? And I was like, I'm drinking these Monster Rehabs, and they were the sweet tea ones or whatever. And you showed up with like 14 different flavors. And when we did the video, literally did that video that your buddy recorded for us, and we're sitting in the chairs, and you hand me something, and I just crack it open, and I was like, holy cow, this is like drinking a sweet tart or something. This is awesome.
Dang, I didn't even know I was in charge of that.
Yeah, dude.
I'm a big fan of taking the white Monster and mixing it with 0-calorie Powerade, so I get my energy and my hydration at the same time.
Smart.
Oh, you know what? And tell me if you guys have it out there. Bang. Have you seen Bang?
Mm-hmm.
You guys got that now?
I haven't seen that.
They are taking the West Coast by storm right now, dude. They're popping up everywhere. That's like all people are drinking.
Yeah, I got one on Sunday.
Are they banging?
Because I had a buddy telling me about it.
Is that what you would say?
I don't think it's something I'm going to drink very much of. It's got creatine and everything in it, so
it's got a branch chain of amino acids, bro. Branch chains, dude. All kinds of branches. They got family tree branches. They got pine branches in there. They got all the branches, dude.
Oh man, speaking of, I just got an update from the RM, and he's not going to let the cat out of the bag on that. And I can't say any more than the coded message, but
what's the RM?
The Ryan Miller buddy.
Oh yeah,
yes.
We should touch on that. Obviously, you there's things that you can't talk about because we here at the Nissan Nation podcast have basically all the insider info. There is some stuff we can talk about the Team Xterra Racing at the Mint. I got the full details on that because, again, we are in the know about all things.
We are in the know, man. And I speak like Miller. So Miller stopped by the other day, man. My buddy from Chicago. Just everybody does time on the couch. I mean, Holden did time on the couch the other day. Miller's done time. Danny, you've done time on that couch.
I've done time on the old couch.
No, this is the couch. Y'all literally shared a bed together.
You bought a new couch since when I went and stayed on your couch.
No, this is the old trustees up here in the bonus room, buddy.
It's the same couch, just different locations.
I mean, Danny, you signed the damn thing. I mean,
did he stay in the paint room?
He did. He was in the paint room.
Man.
So who else is like Hans? Johan's been on that couch. I've had a mini Xterra friend on my couches over the years, but yeah, Miller stopped by. And he was on his way to Georgia for something he was doing, but it sounded really cool. We can talk more about that probably next year, I guess, but that'll be cool. So give us the lowdown on the Team Xterra Racing, Danny, because I know you're not with them anymore this year or anymore, but you're still buddies with Dave Blakely over there. And
I still keep, I still root for him. I know, he was rebuilding the truck after the last race, and he finally got it going. He wanted to race the Mint this year. Couldn't get the truck ready by then. And the way it works is if you pay for like the Mint and you can't make it, then you can just say, hey, hold my registration money for the next race, which was Vegas to Reno. So,
which is that's the last race you did with him, right?
The last race that I did with him was the Mint last year.
Yeah. Okay.
So it was like March of last year.
Oh, it was Vegas Arena was your first race with him then, right?
Yes, Vegas Arena was the first race with them. Yeah.
Yeah. So and we're anything Nissan related, we're always happy to promote, man. And like you said, we're excited that see the old Xterra out there, and the old Xterra got some new colors, man. They kind of tricked it out a little bit.
Yeah, he got a new tire sponsor, tire and wheel sponsor, I believe. Which I'll go into later, but and so they put a little paint job on it. It's orange on down, like kind of down to the bottom of the windows. There's a bunch of pictures floating around Instagram and stuff. I posted one, and we shared some stuff. But and then it's still yellow below the windows. Looks kind of a ton of people were posting up pictures of the old like little play school carts that people kids are riding around. Which I see it. I definitely see it. Personally, it's not my color choice. It's an interesting color choice, but whatever. I think it had to do something with the sponsorship and maybe the color of the people that were sponsoring him with tires and wheels and stuff. So
well, you get a tire and wheel sponsorship, man. You expect to keep on rolling and rolling, don't you?
Yeah.
And, There were some difficulties. He didn't blow an axle this year, so that was a good sign.
No. He put a lot of test miles on the truck. I don't know where he was testing, but maybe it was a pretty gentle area or whatever. I did hear from a ton of guys that there was massive amounts of silt beds, and I mean, anytime you talk to the guys, they're always like, "Oh, the course was terrible this year." It seems like the courses just get worse and worse, and like more and more gnarly. But at the same time, they ran into a ton of problems right out of the gate before they even got to the starting line. So, you want me to give the quick rundown, Dave?
Dude, we have all the time in the world, man. You give us the run. You give us the Daniel Groder's guaranteed rundown.
Now, you can get this all again too on the TXR Facebook page and stuff. But so what happened is they went to contingency. They did all the stuff. The truck was in their minds ready to go. Working great. They had all new tires and wheels from their wheel company that sponsored them. And I had texted him the night before, said good luck, hope everything's going great. His daughter was going to drive 3/4 of the race. She's been doing this with him for basically her whole life. She hasn't had a ton of seat time, but at the same time, she's not a total noob. So he was gonna get in like a quarter of the way in, I believe, and then I think his brother was gonna drive it. So the race starts outside of Vegas about an hour in Beatty. So they left late. Well, from my understanding, they left a little bit later than they should to allow for time for, who knows what. And they had, when they were pulling the Xterra up and on and off the trailer, I guess the last time they did it, they bent the fender down enough to where the fender cut into the trailer tires. And as they were driving to the start line, they blew 2 tires off of it. And so they were on the side of the road banging the fender back into place so that they could get the new tires on.
Let me pause. Let's pause right. There's a lot of talk about banging in this episode. I just want to get that out of the way real quick.
This episode could be sponsored by Bang. Anyhow, so it was a serious fight for them to get those tires on the trailer. But at that point, I think they were trying to get to the starting line by between noon and 1. Mm-hmm. And they actually, the other guys in the class actually started at 12:30. They started early, which in that race, it's kind of crazy how it goes.
Do you kind of?
They were already getting a little bit late, I think.
You want to kind of start with your group, right? Just so you can get a feel, your class for one, but so you can kind of get a feel for what your competitors are doing, really, or does it matter?
Yeah, that and you. I mean, if you get stuck behind an even slower group, I mean, imagine getting stuck behind the Class of 11 Volkswagen Bugs, which are basically totally stock bugs, and trying to pass those guys in a section where you need, full speed to get through some silt beds or something like that.
Right.
So, but yeah, they started at, I want to say it was like 4:30, somewhere around there. Their start time should have been 12:30. They started about 4:30. There was nobody at the starting line anymore when they started. So they were like thinking maybe we can get caught up by, pit 3 or 4, and get back into the race. Maybe they'll let us. So Dave hopped in right off the bat to drive it real hard to try and get caught up, which may have added to the problems that they encountered. So they had, let's see here, race mile marker 112. They went about 120 miles, 112 miles, somewhere in there. They ended up having 3 rims explode on them, like totally come apart. And they just didn't have the time and they didn't have the time to fix that. The guys that were chasing for them couldn't get out to them. Their radio was dead where they were. Before that, they had a couple tires blow out on the car. They put some more spares on. They drove it. They ended up blowing another 2 wheels, and then they blow a third wheel where they were out of radio contact. So They called it at race mile 112, I guess, is what I was, if I remember right.
Well, that's
and it was like 2 a.m. So
dude, that's kind of a bummer. I know he likes to test a lot. It seems like probably more than I would want to in his situation, from knowing that truck's not finished races in a while. And but you expect a new tire sponsor and stuff. You kind of expect those wheels not to, because I seen the pictures, man. It was like incredibly, like, just the centers just like it exploded, like, you know.
Yeah, and my feeling is, I think that it's possible that those wheels just are not rated. I mean, it's kind of a learning process for the wheel manufacturer, I guess, because it's a wheel company I've never heard of before. I think they met them at SEMA, and I think the wheel company said, "Oh yeah, these will hold up," you know.
Right.
And I think they were grossly overestimating the strength of their wheels and or the abuse that desert trucks put on vehicles.
Right, because they look just like kind of street truck wheels or something. I mean,
I think they're just some pretty standard cast wheels.
Because before
wheels,
you guys were running the just Nissan Pro 4X rims, right?
Yeah, which those wheels are pretty stout rims. I think factory rims are pretty thick, especially and then some rims just are more thick, and you know, whether it's a better offset or whatnot too,
right.
Kind of makes a difference. But at the same time, after watching that and seeing all the problems that he had, I'm so happy I ended up getting, you know, my sponsorship on my on my race truck for the KMCs, dude. Those KMCs are so freaking. At first, I picked them up and I'm like, oh my gosh, these things are so thick and freaking beastly, dude. I'm like, oh my gosh, these things weigh $1 million pounds.
Well, speaking of beastly, Holden's over there being kind of quiet, man. He looks deep in conversation.
I was listening to the rundown.
Holden's half drunk and half asleep. I don't know which one's which.
I was trying to be nice about it because I just saw the posts before the race of, we're going to have enough tread on these tires when we're done. They're still going to look brand new. And so I just was kind of surprised to see that the failure came from wheels and tires. I don't know. I mean, Danny would know more than I would. I mean, I know you don't want to push your truck too hard before you race it, but is that a lack of not testing things out good enough, not being 100% sure of what? I mean, it's one thing to have a sponsorship, but just because it's a sponsorship doesn't mean that's something you want to put on the truck.
I think there's definitely something to be said about that. I think the way he put it in his big long post about it was that he was going to go back to the manufacturer and talk to them about, you know, what happened, and this was part of the R&D process for him. So, take that for what it is.
If
that's what
right?
they do, and they say, okay, we're going to make a race wheel specifically for your truck, and then we'll make a street wheels. That's a different story. Then, you know, I can take that for what it's worth. If they just give them another set of, you know, what I consider street wheels, if that's what they are, then they're just going to do the same thing. So, it's, you know, I don't want to sit here and talk bad about it, but it's, you know, to have those, I think part of it, and this is speculation, I think part of it was Dave can drive that truck beyond its limits, I think. And if he's behind and he has to make up time, he's going to drive. I think he has more driving talent than the truck has capability sometimes. So, you know, it's very possible that he drove that truck past its capabilities, you know?
And if you're listening, go get on the socials, give Team Xterra Racing a follow and a like, but check out the pictures of these wheels, because it's not just what you're in your mind thinking.
Yeah.
Like,
they came into two pieces. Like, they exploded. When I say exploded, those things destroyed.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it when I saw it. I was just kind of like,
yeah,
like,
they did three of them. It wasn't one wheel. It was three of them.
And they all look identical, the way they, like, the centers of them just ripped out.
It's almost like the barrel is just too thin for desert racing.
The biggest thing is, I mean, Dave's he's gonna bounce back from this, and like you said, they're gonna learn from it. And I definitely would be hitting the sponsor up for my entry fee, going, you got.
And I feel like that's a problem that's pretty easy to correct. Either
it's easier in the rear end.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's 6 bolts on each corner, You take them off and put some new ones on.
Well, and speaking of race trucks, man, Danny, I seen you were posting on Instagram this week about some updates, man. The seats in. What else is going on?
Yeah, we got the seats mounted. He's still working a bunch on the rear tire carrier / bumper. He got some more bars in there. He got the upper. He's fabbing up upper arms for it right now. So they're kind of prototypes. He's going to try and use the stock upper mounting location for the upper arms, but he's not sure if it's going to be wide enough for those big 3.0s that I got. So he was welding that up, and those arms that he was welding up, I think I just shot you guys a little teaser pic because I didn't share that one because we don't know if that's going to be the final product or anything, but they are like super beast mode Franken arms, dude. They're super gnarly looking.
Yeah, at first when you sent me those pictures, I was looking at those things going, what is Danny sending me? Like, because there was metal in the background too, so it was just a little bit of a blurry like mess of like, I've never, and I think I texted you and said, a ton of are these uppers?
Folded sheet, and that's all tacked together, and I was like, he sent me that, he's like, I don't know if these are gonna fit. They look badass, but I don't even know if they're gonna fit. It's like, so yeah, still he has all the parts to make the spindles except for the snout blocks. The snout blocks is basically what the hub bolts onto. Still waiting for the machinist to get that done. We've been waiting for like months.
Well, I've been thinking, man, with your truck, and of course it's been sitting over there for a little bit, and that's really no fault of anybody's. It's just been a money issue, or it's just been a timing issue for him to build. But how many miles was on that engine when you parked it? Do you remember?
90,000.
Oh, so it was still fairly low miles on that.
Yeah. It's still fresh.
I was just curious because I was thinking, man, if I could see 150,000 miles or something, I may be pulling that motor out and just doing a quick refresh on it before. But yeah, okay. Sorry. Yeah,
it's. That. I mean, it's. Yeah, like I said, not 100,000 miles, and I think the last before I put it away, I mean, she was driving great. Well, you felt it. That was before I put her up, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, she was turning and burning, man.
Smoking them KM2s on a street course.
Heck yeah. So, I'm so pumped and ready to go with it. It's just, it's coming along. It's coming along quicker than it was before. Still not quite as quick as I'd like it to, but, I'm still keeping the pressure on. I got a bunch of ARP studs for all the hubs, Holden, those hubs that you sent over from Regal Nissan, which is awesome. I got some ARP studs to swap out. I guess, and actually, let me share this as a tech tip. Hold on. Talk amongst yourself. I'm going to pull them out real quick.
I feel like this is an SNL sketch all of a sudden. Just talk amongst yourselves. It's okay.
Banging, pulling stuff out.
I know. I don't know where Danny's going with this week, but it's been interesting so far. And for our listeners, let's take a quick commercial break and enjoy the soothing sounds of my voice and Lifestyle Off-Road on the Nissan Nation podcast. What is going on, everybody? Let me talk to you a little bit about Lifestyle Off-Road. What is Lifestyle Off-Road? What do they do? Well, let me tell you, they make custom t-shirts, they make custom graphics, stickers, you name it. They also have their own line of clothing. I wear a lot of it, man. I personally like their designs and what they do and how they support, the off-road community and especially the Nissan community. So if you need something from custom stickers, I love you grandma, whatever you want to put on your car, maybe family reunion t-shirts, maybe t-shirts for your club or event, give them a shout over there at www.lifestyleoffroad.com or check them out on Facebook at Lifestyle Off-Road. Be sure to tell them the NNP sent you. And just like that commercial said, if you need any stickers or anything, give our buddy over there at Lifestyle Off-Road a call. And so now, before we were treated to Danny's ass walking away from us there, where were you going? You were going to show us some studs.
Yeah. So this comes from Niztec. Niztec hooked it up and collaborated. He found these online and used them, and they work great for him. But so it's a stud kit, and the partner, it's ARP. The part number is 100-7716. These are actually Subaru WRX wheel stud kit. They come in a set of 5. They're not crazy expensive, but if you wanted to get full race bro, you could pull the studs out on your hub and stick some beefcake ARP studs in there. So you can be more race cool guy. But that's what I'm going to be using, just a heads up for all you out there.
That sounds banging.
It's going to be cool.
It is going to be cool.
Makes it more racy.
So so I know you still last time we chatted, you kind of had some lofty goals of still making a race this year. Do you think that might happen?
Still in the plans. We'll see.
Man. Nice, dude.
So yeah, there's one in December, so we're going to keep trying for it. If we don't make it, we don't make it, but you gotta set some goals.
That's right, man. And speaking of goals, Danny's got an old YouTube channel over there, man, that you've been posting stuff on, and of course we follow like crazy, being your buddies. But Danny's got some new equipment in his hands over there to help his videos be a little smoother. I know I've given him some shit over the year about shaky videos, and I don't know if he if he had that Michael J. Fox disease or whatever was going on with it, but
you just live so close to the fault lines, Dave.
Oh, yeah, that's what it is.
Earthquakes, bro.
Tremors. Okay, well, I didn't know.
Too many bangs.
I'm just a dumb redneck from Middle Tennessee, guys. I don't know what you Cali boys do over there. But you got some new equipment, man. So we're kind of excited to see the next videos, man. See how smooth that Cali wave and your Steadicam will be.
That's right. Yeah, it's a pretty sweet little Steadicam. So I'm looking forward to I'm hoping to go out and start taking a look at the truck as soon as we get those snout blocks. I think the front end will start coming along real quick. So as soon as that happens, I'm going to shoot out there and try and get some more videos up. Right. It's been super slow because there hasn't been like big progress. So
yeah,
the little stuff isn't really worth me driving a couple hours to go shoot, a couple minutes of video.
I understand that, man. I only went to Arizona to shoot a couple minutes of video. So, so with that, let's do this, guys. El Presidente there. We appreciate that, Mr. President. And speaking of Mr. President, he's going to have a new segment on the show that we're kind of excited about. I don't know if I've talked to Danny and you guys about this, but
hold on, Dave. I think me and Holden should we should both give 2 guesses on what the new segment is before you announce it. Are you up for that, Holden? I mean, Holden, you know Brez pretty well.
Pissy Philadelphia complaints.
How about this? Hey, I'm driving here.
Oh, that's a great title for it, man. I love that. I told him, I said you, because he's a talented dude. Dave. Go ahead.
We still have one more each.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
I got nothing. I'm not that creative.
Holden worked a long day. He woke up early. He went for a run with the little baby girl, and now he had a probably an alcoholic drink, and he's running on 14 hours of no sleep, and he looks like his creative bones have been dried out.
They've maxed
Can we just
out.
have some music that like some dating show music?
How about this? How about this?
The City of Brotherly Love.
How about this? Brez got beef.
No, I like that. I like the first one better. What was your first choice again?
Hey, I'm driving here.
I actually like that. We're gonna have to mention.
So what is it? What is it, Dave?
Oh, we don't have necessarily a title yet. It's just El Presidente Speaks for right now, tentative. But I told him, I was like, look, man, we need 1 to 3 minutes of full Brez. El Presidente postulations. Yes, and so I said just give it to me, guy. And I said, you do your own theme music and everything, because Brez did that little intro to that and stuff. So it's gonna be interesting to see what our buddy there in Philly, PA, whatever, I don't know wherever he's at, but
I think we should Brez and Jim Bob together do a segment.
A debate.
Be like
a debate.
The yin yang.
The yin yang. Really, I like that, man. And it's very Asian. So it fits
Shout
the show.
out to Jim Bob. I didn't realize he had a girlfriend. He's got a very good-looking, fiance. He has a very good-looking fiance. So shout out to Jim Bob. You're doing good things out there. Don't F that up because she is way out of your league, Jim Bob.
Jeez.
I think she's with him for the truck. So if you're out there listening, get yourself a Nissan Frontier. Get yourself a good-looking girl like Jim Bob.
And speaking of Jim Bob stopped by Regal Nissan the other day.
Yeah,
he did.
And Holden
I was kind of disappointed because I was not there.
Holden was on vacation. I mean, he only gets like 15 a year.
I know, right?
And you missed.
Yeah, drove all the way down, and I saw him, and definitely disappointed I didn't get to meet him in person, but he gave us a shout out on the social medias. I talked to him as well. Just always nice in a business where there's a lot of complaints to sometimes hear some positive feedback, and not just positive in the sense of he was just trying to be nice. It was actually legitimate positive. He had great things to say. So
yeah, he showed
always
some pictures from inside the service center bay there. And what's interesting is old Jim Bob lives in Nashville up by me, and he's like, I'm just going to take my truck to have it serviced in Atlanta, and like that's the ultimate compliment for a car dealership service department. If somebody's willing to drive 3 hours, that's probably a good sign for your dealership, Holden.
Yeah, I mean, he probably at least passed 10 or 12 dealerships on his way down here, so that's always a plus.
Well, and speaking
when's your dad going to pay us?
I got paid on my trip out, Danny. You missed it, man. There was a big fat payday for you.
Oh, jeez. When are you going to buy me that microphone?
You just went and pulled hubs off the desk behind you.
Oh, that's right. Hey, Dave, when am I going to get that microphone?
I left you a microphone. You lost it, man.
Oh, dude, that thing was broken, dude. That thing had stuff falling off the sides of it.
Excuses now. Do you know how many?
I had to buy my own microphone. There was a microphone that came with this job.
Well,
I bought this microphone. Dave, quote unquote, gave me a microphone, but that's like me finding some old dirty pants in my freaking driveway and giving them to Dave.
Do you know how many live shows I did with that microphone, Danny? And you just treat it like it was nothing.
It looked like you did live shows since you were about 6 with that microphone. I can't imagine that. I put that thing in a bag and then put it in the trash because all the STDs that were stuck on the outside. That was a microphone from Dave's glory days, dude.
Oh.
Nothing sanitary about that.
That's right, man. And speaking of glory days, guys, Nissan, the 2019 Altima is here, boys and girls. Nissan actually kicked off production today as we were speaking. The 19 Altima is making its way down the assembly line right now, and it's going out the back door. And in about a week or two, it's going to start heading to dealerships for your fun and enjoyment, man. I know, Holden, you got to test drive this actually a day ago, and because Nissan's bringing them around to the dealers and kind of, I guess, getting your people ready. And what did you think of it? You got to drive it, right?
Yeah, they brought out a Platinum with the VC turbo. So it's a training class that they do. Obviously, still trying to build excitement. It's still, I mean, you're not. They say October, so you'll probably get 1 or 2 in the dealership in October, and then from there. But we've already had people calling, asking about it. So you have customers who have questions. So it's always nice to for our salespeople to be able to say, yes, we drove it, we sat in it, this, that, the other. They didn't have any pricing available when they came through, but overall, it's built great. I really, really like the interior that they've done. They've cleaned a lot of things up, and then just little touches, just from being someone who's been around cars for a long time, you start picking up on little things that are important to customers. There's air conditioning vents in the back.
Is there cup holders?
So there's
because the Titan's got
the Titan.
Yeah,
but there's cup holders. So you got AC in the back, which me right now is something I kind of picked up on because in my wife's Rogue, there is not an AC vent in the back. So whenever we take our long road trips, we always take the XD to keep the little one nice and cool, where she's got some AC blowing on her. So it's something I kind of picked up on. Then you have 2 USB chargers back there. But one thing they've done is they've also changed to where they have the C USBs, the smaller USB for the quicker charging. There's one of those in the vehicle as well. Obviously got to drive it with that turbo motor. Was something I was really excited about. It's the way I'd put it is it's a speeding ticket waiting to happen for people. It has a pick up and go, and it's just something that's so much fun. I mean, I went with the trainer just kind of by myself, just me and him. So we kind of got on it a little bit in some back roads back behind the dealership. From a dead stop, just completely pedal to the floor. You got a slight, I wouldn't even call it a turbo lag. It's not even a true turbo lag. You have a slight lag, but once you get up to speed, I mean, about 10 miles an hour or something, if you're just kind of on it and you mash it all the way down, it puts you back in the seat. It has every bit as much of that pick up and go as the V6. So I can completely see why they got away from the V6 completely.
How did the CVT feel with it?
It felt fine. CVT is a CVT. They've claimed that they've redesigned this one, that they're not going to have the same issues they've had in the past. Obviously, that's going to be something to see. I would say we're not going to see the issues like we've seen in the past. That might be me being a little bit hopeful, but it sounds like they've got kind of their R&D team together. They've really worked out a lot of the kinks. So I'm hopeful for the future of CVTs. I know people hate them, love them, hate them, whatever. That's the way it's going. So it's one of those things, unless you're getting trucks or something like that, it's just going to be CVT motors. So you can hate them all you want, but go out and test drive the car. You'll enjoy it. Your SR trim level is going to have paddle shifters. So that's something kind of cool. I think what you're seeing right now, because I know I kind of asked the questions, do we have anything up on the horizon? Are they talking about it at the plant? Is there going to be, I was really wanting to see them maybe revive that SER nameplate. From what I've been told is they just wanted to make everything real basic. So you got your S, SR, your SL, SV, and then your Platinum. They're just trying to keep everything real basic, but there is talks when they do the refresh in 2 years, maybe possibly reviving the SER nameplate. I've even heard rumors that they even are looking at the possibility of doing a 2-door. So that also would be cool.
What? They never, like, the last 2-door was never very successful, even though, it was basically
it was a badass car, but it wasn't successful.
Yeah, it was just sort of a G35 clone-ish something, but they never took off really. And there was hinting of
they never really pushed it, and they got away from it because they didn't want to encroach on Infiniti too much. Mm-hmm. So I think that's one of those things. I think right now they're not as concerned about stuff like that, but they're expecting the Altima to sell well. They're actually not expecting very many turbo sales. They're expecting turbos to only account for about 15% of their total sales. So that was kind of an interesting statistic that they threw out. But this car, the trim levels, I mean, you're getting a lot of technology in your lower trim levels, so you're starting to see some of that technology flow over. I mean, you have an 8-way driver power seat standard across the board. You have your Apple CarPlay standard across the board. So some of those features that were in some of your higher trims, you're seeing drop down into these S models. So I think that's going to be something that's real successful with this car. Something we're seeing success with the kicks, where you're just getting a lot of technology even in your lower end models. So some of those things that are important to people, they're not having to bump up as high of a trim level to get. So I think that's going to be huge.
And tech is kind of strange now because everybody has an iPad or something now. I mean, everybody has this just tech. And what used to, like with your Mercedes and stuff, those used to be like Infinitis. Those are your real tech savvy cars. And now it's like, yeah, if your basic car doesn't have a 7-inch tablet basically in the middle of it, people don't want to give it a shot anymore. So yeah, tech is super important.
And it's really important for Nissan because look at their advertisements. What is their little tagline they're really running right now is the Tech for All event. Well, you can't really have a Tech for All event if you have to have an SL or something like that to get some of this tech. So Apple CarPlay, some of those smaller features that are just really cool little things is huge for them to be having in these lower trim levels. So I think that's something that's going to be really successful. And then, like you said, just having your heads-up display, your tablet-based screen, because it really does almost look like a little tablet just sitting there right on the dash. That kind of stuff. I mean, you're seeing less and less buttons. Everything's real airy in the vehicle. Everything's real open and airy. So I do like that. I think it's gonna be a good selling car. I wish they would have had one of each, so where we could drive the new 2.5 motor. It's pretty much 80% redesigned. But I was glad that they brought the turbo. I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting them just to bring the regular 2.5.
Nice. How speaking of kicks, how have the kicks been selling? I mean, did you just get a couple and that's it, or have you started getting them much more?
I mean, we have 17 now, so they've started picking up. In the beginning, it's typical vehicle release. We had quite a few people asking on them, but we only had one or two. But since we've got them in, we got multiple different colors. This past weekend, we just sold one of the fully loaded SRs with the Bose in headrest speakers. There's a blue with a white top. Mm-hmm. So whenever we have someone that's interested in them, it's been pretty successful close ratio. So that's been very positive. You're starting to see a lot more advertisement from Nissan on it. So I expect that to continue to pick up. I think people really do enjoy the colors. We had a lady week before last. She was a Oklahoma fan and she loved the red and black. The only thing she didn't like is the interior on the SR has that orange stitching. And she was like, this is Oklahoma State stitching. I don't really like that. So that's one thing I think they could do better on is maybe make it a more neutral type stitching. I mean, the stitching's cool, but if you have a red and black vehicle and then the contrast stitch is orange, it throws people off a little bit.
You know what really made me upset is all these Pro 4Xs that I saw with red stitch seats, and then I got my red Pro 4X and I have white stitch seats.
Yeah.
It drove me absolutely bonkers. And I don't think I noticed it when I first bought the car, I'm like, why does this thing have white stitch seats? Like every Pro 4X has like a red stitch seat. And then all of a sudden I get a red truck and they're like, nah, we don't want it to be too matchy.
We have a customer that comes into service. She has a blue Z, and she took a highlighter and colored all her stitching like highlighter blue.
That's what I should do.
Sharpie
it red.
All the way around her entire car. I was like, that's dedication right there.
Danny, you don't want to Sharpie anything on that truck because last I seen you were thinking about putting it up for sale.
Oh, I dabble in thoughts all the time.
You're a Renaissance man.
The Red Dragon's always for sale. Just gonna be fun. Somebody that wants to buy it.
Nice, man.
The right price.
Well, I didn't mean to interrupt your thing there, but Danny was like bragging on his truck, and I'm like, you're just talking about getting rid of the damn thing.
Well, I was complaining about it actually.
Danny needs a race truck or a scout truck is what he needs.
I don't know, man. I really like the Titans, man. And it, my family got bigger. If I take my truck anywhere, I'm stuffing them in my truck. So
yeah,
I don't know. Maybe a full size Overlander would be cool.
Hey man,
maybe a Titan would be cool.
I know in about a year,
truck.
In about a year, where one's about to go to Regal Nissan that you'd be interested in. It's a black Pro 4X, loaded.
I couldn't do black.
Yeah, well,
I gave up black a long time ago.
Well, no, you don't want a black vehicle. What's wrong with that, man? I mean, sure, here in the South, it's like the hottest thing ever.
You drive it by something, it's scratched and it stands out like a sore thumb. You got to keep it like clean.
Yeah. Well, what color? Oh, and speaking of colors, and this is the Nissan News segment. I want to give a shout out to somebody. I won't mention his name, but this is the Dumbass of a Year award goes to this guy because let me say when you we've talked to Nissan. And they've cleared, like Nissan has said on this show, we watch social media, guys. And this is a little mini Dave rant, by the way. So
I have a feeling that I'm going to be against this rant, Dave.
So let me tell you this. So working for Nissan, as I did, you go through all kinds of classes and training of etiquettes. And now in the day of social media, they really push this. Do not whatsoever open your phone up on the production floor to take a picture. They don't even they see that phone and they're marching your ass out of there. Well, this gem of a guy, who I'm sure he's a great guy and it just thought it was in good natured fun, but took a picture of the new orange Nissan Titan Pro 4X sitting inside Canton's production facility. And we can debate this, Danny, but this is a major, major no-no. I don't care what manufacturer you work for. You do not do. I watched them march somebody out of the Smyrna, Tennessee plant. I watched them march this guy out for just bringing his phone out on the production floor. They don't mess around with this, man. So when I see the guy post the pictures, and then, I kind of said something to him. I wasn't being rude about it, but I was like, dude, that's a big... and I was trying to get him to take it down. I don't want to see anybody get fired, especially on Facebook when your name is sitting right next to the picture. And then I start seeing people who I know work for Nissan start liking comments about when people are like, hey, man, you may want to not do that. And I'm pretty sure that guy's no longer employed with Nissan Canton's production facility, Dan. But, Dan, tell me why I'm wrong about this.
Actually, Dave, I thought you were gonna talk about something else. I think
totally
you're probably pretty right on that one. Yeah,
this guy, man.
I'm glad we got a picture.
I'll just disagree with Dave because I pushed him. I was like, Dave, are you going to share this on social media? Because I shared it.
But be honest, and what did I say? Page. What did I tell you why I didn't want to share this?
Because you don't want to encourage people to. I'm all for people losing their job to give us pictures of.
Yeah, I don't have any problem with.
If they want to do that, that's fine.
That's their prerogative. If somebody f's up, basically it's our job to steal those pictures and say, hey, somebody effed up. Well, it's out now. And Holden was the cat's out of the bag. You can't put the cat back in the bag. It's gonna somebody download it. Auto read or whatever. All these jackhole friggin' reporting places that write junk copy is going to share that.
And that's leading into another jackhole reporting place that's been listening to our podcast, but we'll get in that in just a minute. But anyways,
waited a day and then started sharing it because I was like, I'm not going to miss out on some extra likes and follows and
I get that.
Socials,
I do
may
get
have
that.
even sent it to the Nissan division vice president and said, I like the new color Titan, but it looks like y'all got a mole in the plant. That may or may not have happened.
Oh man, way to put that knife in the back, Holden. But no,
dang, dude.
But seriously,
that wasn't even under the bus. That was right in front of the bus. Just
yeah. Here, let me stop right on your head. No, but seriously, guys, if you work for, and I know we have people that listen to Nissan, and I know they preach this. Like, it's not just like they preach this, guys, like daily. When I worked for them, we could have radios. The only thing that could play off of those radios was either actually reception, which you're not getting in a metal building, or you had an iPod you could bring out with no camera attached to that thing. And guys, trust me, like Holden said, I mean, I really do want to not spoil it for anybody, but if I get a piece of information like that, I really do want to share it. But I was in this case, I was trying to be the nice guy and be like, just without just going, dude, pull that picture down right now. And what the worst thing was, Danny, so it's going on, and he's like kind of debating back and forth with me about it, and I was just leaving it alone. And then the dumbass said, oh, this okay. I've done worked this out because I took this picture 2 months ago, and I've been holding on to it. I was like...
Yeah, and he said, oh, it's fine now because now they're releasing the 19 Titans.
Yeah, and they haven't released the 19 Titan yet.
They haven't released the 19 Titans, and they haven't released the new colors that they're...
Yeah, the only people that know...
I saw someone else on there that commented something, and I was like, bro, you signed a non-disclosure agreement for that information that you have, and you're breaking that. Like,
yep. There was
I'm not
one...
like Dave. I don't even give him a cautionary warning. I just sit back with my popcorn and...
Yeah, because there was...
It's about to be good.
There was one person that I know was at Canton Plant that got to see the new trucks in their colors and made a comment, and I seen that too, and I was just like... Okay, because the same person who I do get sometimes inside information from, I was just like, I wouldn't have thrown my balls out there like that, but whatever. But anyway, so that's disclosure, and that's our dumbass of the week, I guess, from the Nissan Nation podcast. And Holden, our interview with Team Venom Racing was a good interview, right?
Oh yeah,
I enjoyed it.
It was a good interview.
It was a good interview, and if you guys haven't listened, go back a few episodes, man. That I really enjoyed talking to Walter, and man, they're cranking out the pictures on Instagram right now. So we'll give him a slight shout out here.
I watched a video of him the other day. Great. I think it was like a dirt drag. He went up against I want to say it was a Dodge, and good gracious, dude, that freaking truck digs so hard, bro.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you're looking at a dragster, dude. That thing shot off the line.
Yeah.
I was blown away, man. I've seen him, do some tractor pulls. I hadn't seen too many drags. And that thing friggin' screamed.
Yeah, well, go back. It's episode 70. So that was May 14th when that episode released, and we got word that somebody's been listening to our podcast. Well, I know I've read things that we've said in paper or in writing. So we are getting out there, but fill us in, Holden. What was talked about a little bit?
It was pretty much just I don't know exactly how it happened, but someone heard our interview with them, and now they want to have them on their show. So it's something. Walter and them are pretty awesome guys. I still communicate with them pretty on the regular. They got an awesome YouTube channel, awesome videos. Obviously, with me being a Titan XD owner, I love seeing what he does with it. I mean, they were just at the Carlisle Truck Show. They won some awards up there for their show trucks. I don't know if either of y'all have seen, but like you're talking about cranking out pictures, he just redid Venom's paint scheme.
And it's
so
wicked.
It was white. Now it's all black. It's completely sick. He sent me a sneak preview of it before it even got released. He wanted me, hey, don't show anybody.
Yeah, you wouldn't even tell me about it.
And you know what I did? I did not go jump on Facebook and share it with everybody.
Did you sign a non-disclosure?
I kept that private. But he was just in some, what was it? He was just in Diesel Tech magazine and another one. He sent me copies of both of them. So that was really cool. But yeah, so another truck show really quickly brought him up and brought up the interview and just kind of gave a shout out to them and how they wanted to have them on the show. So I just thought that was interesting. It's something he shared with me tonight. I'll pull it up and we can post it up later, exactly what show it was and everything. But it's just one of those things. You never know who's out there listening. And Walter didn't even hear it. It was actually one of his sponsors that heard it on that show and then shared it with him. So whenever we ask people, this just goes to one quick little thing I'll just say is whenever we ask you to, share the show, share even our posts, anything, that really does help us out because you never know who's going to hear us. So like I said, that was a sponsor of his truck that heard. So that helps him out too, just for that sponsor to be able to see how far reaching some of these interviews and stuff like that goes. So it's not something we just, lip service. Hey, can you share us? It's something that means a lot to us. And so that's my little soapbox thing real quick. Just always be sharing us. You never know. You never know how far it can reach. You never know how much it can help.
And one share can can help us a ton, guys. So like you said, man, if you like it, let people know. We don't just say share it just because we're looking for our army of listeners to go out there and spread the word. But if you like the show, definitely share it, man, because we've got all kinds of. There was somebody let us a review today. We've had all kinds of little feedback here, and we've got a bunch of listener questions, man. I don't know if you guys have had a chance to see any of these yet.
Yes, we do. You want to start reading some off here?
We got the professional there from Danny. Yeah, Dan, if you can reach one of those, let's get into this just a little bit.
Let's go with why don't we each maybe grab one or something like that. I'm gonna go with David Bartley. Hey guys, great show. I just got a 2018 Titan Pro 4X. Coming from a Tundra, I was hoping for better MPG, but I'm only getting around 15.5 city highway. I know it's going to vary depending on how you drive and where you live. Just curious to see what you guys are getting.
Did he specify XD or just normal Titan?
Yeah, it just says 2018 Titan Pro 4X. So I'm guessing it's not an XD.
All right.
But in truth, that one's probably going to be more to you, Dave. since you have the tight. Well, you too, I guess.
Yeah. Let's see. That's a tough one because it's really, do you drive up hills? Do you what part of the country do you live in? As me and Holden experienced on our trip out west, like sea level can kick a truck's ass, man. So that's a tough one. But I know here in Middle Tennessee, just kind of, if I'm daily in it, I can average probably 16.5. That's probably heavy city driving. If I've done trips in the thing where I've gotten 21 on trips if I go up to Ohio or somewhere. But I would say kind of a mix. It's about 18 on a good mix of those two. Holden, how does your diesel doing you?
I usually get about 17 to 16.5. It kind of depends because you got your regions and everything that the DEF system goes through. But usually I'm sitting usually around about 17. I just got back, obviously road trip down to Florida and back, doing about 75 to 80. I was about 17.5 all the way down there and back, pretty much just highway. Then obviously when we towed the trailer and everything, that was a completely different story.
Yeah, we won't talk about that one, right?
I mean, on the way out there, unloaded trailer, 4,500 pound trailer is about what it was. It was close to 12 miles a gallon. On the way back, it was about 10 miles a gallon.
Well, if you think, I mean, that trailer's probably about 9,000, almost 10 with that truck on there. So
yeah,
that's a hefty trailer to be pulling with a, I mean, relatively small diesel engine.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I'd say, I mean, 15.5, it really would just depend on, I know he says city highway, but some people, is it more cities and more highway? 15.5 to 16 is about kind of what you'll see in those trucks. I know that's not ideal for some people, but when you look at what I consider the truck and the way it's built and everything, that's just kind of about what you're going to see. So
and I will say, when I towed my Xterra to Went last year, which is, I guess it's about 200 miles from me, if that. And that's going up through the hills of East Tennessee. I think I averaged over there about 13 miles a gallon in that thing towing my Xterra. So I was happy with that, really. I mean,
that's not bad at all.
Would I like 21 towing something? Sure, man. But I also don't want to make those big diesel payments that Ford and Chevy have. Let's see, Mr. Angel Rubio, what is going on with Went Rubicon? Is that still a possibility? Yes, it is still a possibility. My partner in crime, Mr. Luke Pankow, and his wife had a small baby. And I mean, they were trying. Obviously, it wasn't like it was whoa, where did this come from? Stork just dropping one off there. But it complicated those plans at the moment because we had planned Went, Iowa. We were going to do a kind of an overlanding off-road trip up there too. Right in the middle of that, they had their baby. So we've put those plans on hold for a couple years. But yes, Angel, we are coming to the West Coast. And you never know. There's also might be a MOAB date out there. So just keep that in mind. Holden, you got one of those?
I'm going to actually jump over to the Instagram and just kind of read this comment we got from our new 2019 Altima post. The Booty Baron said, "Great pick. Check out my page. I think you'll love it. We have the same taste."
The Booty Baron.
And looking at the Booty Baron, apparently we might have some of the same tastes, but it is not Nissan related. So,
oh my God! So again, let's go. Spam their page, please.
You just never know where that our reach is going to go. So
if you'll go to the Booty Baron and hashtag Regal Beagle for me, I would appreciate that.
On a serious note, though, I'll bring up, we've had, where was it? We've had a couple people on the 2019 Altima, though, seriously. I've seen people comment, it looks like an Audi. It looks like a Mazda. I know Dave says it has some Honda. I think it has a little bit of everybody. And yeah. I think after over 100 what is it? What are we at? 120 years of building automobiles. Like eventually stuff's going to start to kind of look the same. To me, I've said it kind of has that Lexus kind of grill feel to it.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, I see that.
I think the thing with Mazda, in my opinion, is it's just that same red that the new Mazda has been shown in so many times. So,
Mazda,
but I think that
Mazda and Infiniti they do have some similarities. I'm not going to lie about that one, but though I will say with both of them, both of those cars have came out at the same time too, man. So it's kind of hard to and Nissan, the V Motion Grill, they've been cranking that out for 20 years.
Yeah, and it's gotten bigger. So there's that. Then I think that's pretty much it. Austin. Well,
yeah. Austin Schmidt had a rant.
Yeah. Read that rant. One of you.
Rant/question.
I'll read that rant. Austin Schmidt laid it out, and I think all three of us would probably agree with this. When will NNP be sponsored by Nissan Corporate? There's another podcast out there that is sponsored by Nissan and gave them access to the Surf Camp Titan for a few days for review, which I know you guys talked about on one of the shows. Can't stand listening to the other podcast. It burns me that the other show has Nissan backing, but the NNP doesn't. End of rant. Been saving that for a month. Well, Austin, we appreciate your support and love for us over here at the NNP, and we would be very happy if Nissan Corporate helped us out a little bit, maybe sponsored us a little bit, help us, make this into an even better podcast for all those Nissan lovers out there.
Definitely.
We'll keep plugging and we'll keep talking about that. If you talk to Nissan, why don't you post that on Nissan's page, Nissan Trucks page, or something like that? That would be helpful. And anybody else that wants to do something like that.
That would be actually helpful because and this goes to the Overland crowd, guys, and I'm gonna kind of shit on you for a minute, guys. Like, I see every day on Instagram, hey man, join my Overland page, man. I've got 10 followers and let's partner up and we're going to really make a difference. And when I see that and I've been hit by those guys, I'm just like, oh, man, because when I look at sponsorships, man, and stuff like that, I'm like, what can I bring to those guys? I don't go, what can you bring to me? But in cases like this, if Dave, Danny, and Holden went to Nissan and said, "Hey guys, we're going to really sell them on this idea," they're going to be like, "We've got that covered, guys. Don't worry about it." But if our audience goes to them and starts just pestering them a little bit, they have to take notice of that because you guys are the ones really buying cars. So if you want to make a difference like that, go to your local Nissan affiliate or rep and bug the piss out of them about it. But we're really not corporate guys, though, I don't think, man. Well, obviously, one of us is a corporate shill over there, Danny.
No,
That's a perfect name. A shill.
I'm not a corporate guy. You know why I'm not a corporate guy? Because I work in the actual industry. I just don't have a degree and fill out spreadsheets all day.
That's right, man. Well, if you could spread something, it would be a sheep.
Whoa.
But no, on a serious note, I mean, obviously we'd love nothing more than to get some Nissan help, and really all we'd want Nissan for is to be able to hook us up with interviews for product planning people, things like that. We don't want any money, because you start taking money from them, then you can't give honest and reviews and opinions like we've done in the past. And I think that's one thing that makes this show great is, I mean, if you put out a crap product, we're going to call it out on it and say it might be a crap product. We might say that tactfully.
Could you imagine our trip out to Arizona if it was a corporately funded trip? I mean, because I feel like me and you, and that's one of our more popular shows, and it's only been out a week. We really gave some honest opinions of the vehicle as we were driving out there. You did stuff for Regal, like real little reviews of how the taillights and all that worked with the trailer. And, I feel like when we were driving down the road, giving an honest review of how quiet the truck was. But if it's funded by Nissan or somebody like that, it's very
yeah.
No.
Well, and I'm with Austin too. I've listened to the show he's talking about. I found it and figured out what show it is and everything. And it says presented by Nissan. And I've listened to a few episodes now. And there's a lot of Dodge talk. I mean, there's a little bit, but everything else is not really. And you would think Nissan trying to get into the truck market and sponsoring this truck show, they'd be wanting something in return. And why would you sponsor a show that is talking about all your competition and not really building you up at all? The Surf Camp episode that he talks about, the Surf Camp was mentioned 5 minutes max throughout the whole hour and a half long show. Whereas me and Dave have talked about it on length, and these guys got to have it in their shop, drive it and everything else. And they posted a couple pictures of it, and that's pretty much it. And I don't want to put anyone else down, but it's one of those things. I think it would be great to see Nissan get behind guys who are talking strictly Nissan all day. I mean, anyone can get a podcast and talk about all different types of trucks, but everyone who thinks this show's easy, there's not fresh new news and fresh new models coming out every day.
That's right. Yeah, let me.
I mean, we got the 2019 Altima. That's the only redesigned model coming out for Nissan this whole next year. So.
Yeah, well,
I'm a big dirty whore, and I'll take money from Nissan Corporate all day long.
Oh man,
Nissan Corporate, why don't you send the NNP to all kinds of fun, exciting things?
But you know,
pay for it all.
Dan, it's like I told Holden, we were talking. You know, we talked about this on the last show. We fixed the world's problems, but we also I kind of give him my vision of where I would like to see this show one day, and I would love for them to put a NV van out there. Dude, you want to help us? These vans don't cost you anything. It's a lease to you guys. Give us a van and let us tour around for a month. Put our podcast logo on the side of that, and let us go to dealerships. Let us go to the Z event in Texas, and just let real people who love your brand do a show, man. And that's kind of where I see the show. If any partnership with Nissan could do is give us a vehicle, let us spend a month in it, a real month in your vehicle.
Even if I totally agree, Dave. Sorry to cut you off, but yeah. Maybe we outfit a vehicle that's a live podcast vehicle, and we can take that to a bunch of different venues, but different shows, whether it's NISFest or Moab or Went or whatever. And it's like they don't even have to give it to us; they can basically let us have it while we do our thing.
Right, and that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Throw a wrap on it, right? So that would be an amazing way to help the podcast.
Holden, anything?
That's all I have.
I really think anything. To me, it's going to be getting interviews with people. Obviously, Dave's right there. Letting him be able to, they let other reporters and things like that do some drives on these cars. I mean, letting Dave drive these cars these newer cars, and give us some feedback to the listeners and things like that. Just things like that is going to be, I think, the stepping stones to things bigger.
Well, and part of that, guys, has been some of that is getting on their radar too. Of we've been a small time thing for quite a while, and for some reason you guys have really picked up steam, and like we've really, I mean, I'll be honest, like our numbers were just like buddy numbers, like. It was several hundred friends that would listen, and all of a sudden it's taken off to several thousand friends that'll listen each month. So having some of that, but that's why we're trying to really launch our YouTube channel, and we want to do honest reviews on these cars, and having Nissan, literally I can drive over there and they give you a car. They do it to every other reporter, give a car or give Danny. I know they do it out in California and LA where Danny's at. They have cars. They just go, here's what you have it for a week. And then do reviews, and that's where I see us really flourishing with the show.
And just people giving feedback, people obviously, like you said, Dave, continuing to download, but just our numbers increasing like they have. I've taken that to Nissan reps as they come through the door, and hey, I'm helping these guys with this podcast. We got this many downloads a month, and it's surprising Nissan to hear that just 3 guys who just love the brand kind of set something up. We're not really officially sponsored by anyone per se, and we're just doing it on our own just for the love of it. And so it's going to take some of y'all's feedback. One thing I'd love to see more in the show is more listener questions, more listener feedback, more, hey, I'd love to hear about this, or hey, can y'all do a segment about this? And even guest suggestions. If y'all got a buddy who's doing something interesting with Nissans, you got a buddy who's doing an RB26 swap into a 240, just anything, because that's so long we run out of. I mean, we can always talk about stuff, but we want to hear and be able to talk about what y'all want to talk about. So if you got a neighbor down the street who's doing some crazy thing with Nissan, if you're doing something crazy with Nissans, reach out to us. Let us interview you, because that's what's going to continue to drive this show and get new listeners is, we interview someone who's got another 1,000 friends who aren't on we're not on their radar. Now we just touched another 1,000 people. So definitely, I'd love to see a lot more listener involvement.
Yeah, and I think we've really, especially since bringing you in, Holden, like that seems to be your specialty, is like getting more involvement in that stuff and having people reach out. And we really do, like, this is y'all's show, man. I mean, we host the show, but generally the topics are when we see you guys talking on social media or something's kind of where we jump in on and try to, we're truck guys, definitely. I mean, I love cars to death. So if Nissan, if you want to give me a GTR for a week, I'm not going to turn you down by any means. And I'll give you an honest review of it and all the tickets that I probably get in it. But I mean, yeah, so we can, as far as like trucks, we talk trucks all day, but definitely we are trying to push harder into cars. Like the Altima, I definitely want to test drive that. If Nissan won't give me one, I'll go down to Regal, and I know you guys will let me drive one. So, but anyways,
yeah, we'll let you drive one.
I think was there any other questions? I didn't. Let's see. I didn't see any others.
I think that's pretty much all I saw. Everything else is just kind of comments from people talking about the new Altima. I think that's just gonna be a car people are gonna have to see in person.
Yeah, that color is
kind of
awesome,
hard just to.
That red is freaking awesome, man. Hey, and speaking of, look where that picture was taken. I posted inside the Nissan plant, and guess who posted that? Nissan, guys. So as we end this up, if you're gonna post a picture, please get it written approval. So guys,
yeah,
what is your fall looking like, Danny? I know we're sadly not going to get to see you at Wentworth Rock, which is in a couple of weeks. I know you said you were going to do some hunting. You got a big hunting trip out Montana again?
Yeah. So, I'm going hunting tomorrow. I'm going to do a little pig hunting tomorrow. But in November I'm going out to Montana for a week for a big for get myself a buck. Get me a buck. So I'm looking forward to that. Yeah, dude, this whole year has been pretty low key for me. It's been all about family. We, I think I mentioned it before. We got a foster kid, so that's been a lot of extra work for the wife and for the family and stuff like that. So I had to slow my roll on my trips and adventures and running off into the middle of nowhere. So I've been focusing on family a lot more this year.
No rape cabins for you
and
this
race
year,
truck.
right? No rape cabins for you.
No rape cabins for me. I got to be a responsible young adult. But hopefully we'll get race truck done, and then I'll spend some time doing that.
Well, Holden, you got any big plans other than I know you got Went coming up, and I think your year's kind of winding down too. Then for your big trips, right?
Yes and no. I'm back up in DC for a whole week next week. Come back, got a Georgia game, then just getting ready for Went. It's gonna be. I got a couple things left I got to do. Having Luke design the wrap for the truck. Hopefully, so Lifestyle Off-Road for all your needs. He's gonna be wrapping the Frontier for us. He's already done a shirt design that we're giving out at Went, so that's really cool. Something I really like. It's a little t-shirt idea I've had for a while, but just finally all came together. So he was able to help out with that. I got 2 more trips up in DC, hunting season coming up, and then nothing much really. I'm gonna try to do probably in October a truck day at the dealership. Have all guys with any type of truck I can get, Frontiers, Titans,
we'll bring
Xterras, whatever.
We'll bring the Xterra down, buddy.
So yeah, have a little truck Sunday, just to kind of, get some excitement in. Just do something different.
Nice.
With our truck community, truck guys.
Instead of cars and coffee, will it be like Trucks and Monster or something?
Yeah, it'll be something like
Trucks
that. Well, I'm
and
actually I got my buddy. He owns a Snap-on truck, so he's gonna bring his Snap-on truck up there. So thought that would be cool. Probably try to have a food truck up there or something. Waffle House just came out with new food trucks, so maybe have Waffle House food truck or something.
We know how
make
you
it
love
just something kind of chill and fun on a Sunday.
Holden, if you get to go with Holden, man, he's all about the awful waffle. If you're in the East Coast, Danny experienced that, didn't you, Dan? You and Meisner.
I think I need another experience on that.
Well, you need we were Denny's crew this time. There was no really Waffle Houses out there.
Yeah, there's no Waffle Houses in Love's truck stops.
That's right. And once again, if you're going to go on a road trip with Holden, expect the sleaziest, nastiest truck stops. For the Regal Beagle.
I'm a man of the people, Dave. I'm a man of the people.
You are a man of the people. Both of you guys are. And speaking of that, so from everybody here at the Nissan Nation podcast, my buddy JR, who I talked to the other day, and we'll be at Went. Super excited by that. To my lovely wife who does the intro, to the crew over there on the coast holding it down, Mr. Daniel, the Big Deal Groders, and young Holden. Well, you gave Holden a nickname at one time. I can't remember what it was.
Did I?
Yeah.
Holden McGroin?
So from everybody here at the Nissan Nation podcast, what are we, Danny?
Out!
Peace, everybody. Love y'all. Share.